Hello everybody, this is Dragonzilla 1991 here, and for today's/tonight's review, depending on what time it is when you are watching this video, I will be taking a look at two monsters that I haven't talked about in ages, and as you can see, they are the Daleks. However, these particular Daleks are from the 4-part 1979 episode Destiny of the Daleks, and this set is also the B&M exclusive History of the Daleks set number 12. This was Tom Baker's second encounter with the Daleks, but unlike Genesis of the Daleks was a masterpiece and celebrated to this very day, Destiny was a bit of a letdown, because at this point it had been 4 years since the Daleks had been previously used, and as a result, the props themselves looked absolutely tatty, and both these models reflect this. The first Dalek is this one, and although yes, it is your typical 70s grey Dalek, it does have a couple of features. For starters, it has what I can only describe as a black ring around the dome lights. In fact, that'll be the first thing that you'll be quick to notice with this Dalek. And they sort of remind me of the dome lights on the White Imperial Daleks from the 80s, so I wonder if whether or not they were an inspiration. And they were also present on one of the Genesis Daleks, however they weren't as noticeable, unlike here where they stand out. The eye is quite interesting too, because this time it's been painted on rather than sculpted, but in the story the Daleks did have eyes that looked pretty unrealistic. Unfortunately, the eye stalk on this Dalek is bent. The midsection appears to be completely black, even though that's only on the slats and band, while the rest of the area is grey. The manipulator arm, sorry I butchered that one, is completely black, and the gun is dark bronze. These Daleks hadn't been used for a very long time, so naturally there would be scuffs on the hemispheres, and this is of course reflected on the figures, and even the fender base too. Out of the two Daleks in this set, I think that I like this one a lot more, as it does stand out from its colleague, with the black rings around the dome lights. Up next and lastly is the second Dalek, and this one possesses the normal traditional dome lights. However, its eye is still painted on like its comrade. The midsection is also a little different to the other Dalek, as the band is light grey, like the rest of it, the gun is now black and not bronze, and the fender base is silver painted on the top. Even though I do prefer the darker grey of Genesis Daleks, I gotta say that I do like the light grey colour scheme, as it does make late 70s Daleks stand out from their early 70s brethren. Production wise, they had been used for a long time, so naturally the paint would have lighted up, and if you look closely at some of the slats, you can even see some cracks. But universe wise, these Daleks were actually the first generation of Daleks from Genesis, but are now centuries and even eons old, hence their condition in the story, even though ironically they are portrayed as robots and not aliens in battle armour. I know that I really haven't talked much on this Dalek, and that's simply because there isn't a lot to say on it. However, nevertheless, it still looks nice. So now, what are my final thoughts on these Daleks? They're both great, and you can never have enough grey Daleks, as they are the best in my opinion. Definitely up there with the likes of the 60s Silver Daleks and Dalek Paradigm. Nah, just kidding, the Time War Bronze Daleks. Well, at least when they were at their best in the original RTD era. Destiny of the Daleks is an okay story, inferior compared to its predecessor, Genesis of the Daleks. However, I will take Destiny over Asylum of the Daleks any day of the week. This is Dragonzilla 1991 signing out. Take care, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.